And really, the name, it should deliver.
Hard, but it really don't.
It should pack a fucking punch, and the punch was not delivered. I wanted to feel like a Mike Tyson hit, and I did not feel that.
You gotta try Cam's meth Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's what he's bringing me to. I was like, fuck, I should have brought that to the rave this weekend. That would have been good.
Like just popping off, make those jumps real high.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Fuck. Yeah, no, it did not deliver at all. I didn't find that either.
No.
But I think it's like, I always feel like the States ones are just the best because they have all that shit that we can't have here, just the band stuff. Or like the old Jack 3D, that was good stuff. Or the old 1MR. These were good times until they fucking...
Just take it all away.
Yeah, yeah, and they start banning shit.
The only way I can feel pre-workout now is if I do Ballistic Labs dry scoop.
Okay, yeah.
And you wash it down with an energy drink.
Yeah, because energy drink
Like, that's all you got.
Yeah, the first ingredient in energy drink is water, so it's like it's the same thing. It's healthy. It's a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
So the accidental podcast. Here we are.
Accidental podcast.
I like it.
From Q&A to, well, might as well just make a podcast.
Might as well just
It'll be
dive
easier
in.
that way.
Yeah. I like a good accidental podcast. I'm into it. Kind of looking at the idea today as like a competition prep mentality, like mindset kind of vibe today. Cool. I like that.
I was thinking we should start with personal experience.
Yeah.
So whether that be anxiety hitting you a month out, a week out, how you manage that, how you deal with it, do you get nervous, do you get more excited?
Yeah.
What happens to you specifically first? And then we'll delve into how we help clients
How
do
to
that
deal with
after.
that. Cool. I like that. That's an interesting start because I think now, especially with like anxious feelings, is we're kind of almost taught to like kind of shy away from anything that causes you anxiety.
Yeah.
And to almost ignore it or to find something to like mask it. Like
comfort.
yeah. So I think controlled anxiety is so healthy. Like it's, the cool thing about feeling that, especially leading up to a competition and a meet, is like everything. It is in your control of how you deal with that. Obviously, there's things that are out of your control, like who shows up. If you're gonna start getting anxious about your competition, things like you don't know who's gonna show up to your competition. Like you don't know who's gonna be there. But I think when you have those feelings and kind of sitting with that anxiousness, and then you actually compete and you do it, you feel so good about yourself that you're like, usually, and this is from speaking to other people and kind of what I've gone through, is afterwards you're like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
For sure.
Like the build up is always so much worse in your head than what actually the outcome is or what the day of it actually entails.
Yeah.
And I think like different competitions can have different forms of like where the anxious feelings comes from. Like the first meet is the unknown. Or first competition, you don't know what it's going to be like. You don't know who's going to be there, those kind of things. And then the more you do it, I think like different forms of anxiety come from whatever obstacles that you face during your competition prep. So whether it could be like an injury thing or like maybe money or a breakup, or like there's different forms of anxiety based on kind of what have gone through at that time. And I think even when I've had quote unquote bad competitions, the fact that you still like pushed through and did it still feels good on that end. And it's only even like on a really, really bad competition, the next one's only going to be better.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to feel that and kind of sit with it a little bit. Because it's like if you have only good competitions over and over and over again, you don't really know what that low point feels like in order to really appreciate the next one, or to know what you did differently, right? That you can do differently. And I think people just want to feel that high or that really good one every single time. So when you have that bad one, sometimes people quit.
The low hits real hard.
The low hits real fucking hard. And I think when you've just been on that high for so long of great meet after great meet after PR after PR, and you hit those really low ones, you're like, I don't know if this is for me, or if this is like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And it sometimes even have to be what you're doing wrong. Sometimes you just have to really feel that and like sit with it in order to know, or to really appreciate, I should say, what the next one, or how the next one is.
Sure.
Because it's very, very rare that you have 8 bad competitions in a row. It's very rare.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's always something that's like a learning experience out of each one. And because I remember like trying to think of some of my like really bad, I'm facing bad experiences because I've never even viewed them like that. I've just like walked away from them and been like, that wasn't the best one or anything like that. But I don't even calling them low experiences because I think there's just, I think when you look back on stuff like that, even when it's, you know, what you could do differently, it's always what you could do better. It's what you could like, because I also try not to live with like regrets of things. It's
That's
like,
fair.
I try, if someone asked me what I could like, and just in life in general, of what you can go back and change, I actually wouldn't change anything because it's I think also like an irrelevant way of thinking because you can't do it. You can't go back in time, so why would I think about something that can't happen? So it's always like, well, what could I do to either improve myself, my mindset, or like my next step or phase in life so that I'm either a better person, hopefully, or a better athlete, or better as I move forward, versus just sitting there being like, I wish that didn't happen. Because I think it's just kind of a waste of a feeling, I guess, or a waste of a thought in my head, because it can't happen. I guess because maybe that's a little bit of logic in there too, of like, well, it can't. Like, I can't go back in time, so why would I have that thought, the what if thought? So I think sometimes I just try to think about like what I could improve on instead, so that at least when I walk away from a meet, whether I've ever had a new PR total or maybe I haven't hit a total, if I always walk away knowing that I did my best effort, then I'm usually a little bit more satisfied than just being like, well, you didn't earn your chance anyways.
That's fair.
Right? Because if there's someone that has like a 100-pound total on me, on the day of, I can't do anything about it. Like, I can grind, I can push. If they're having a perfect day and I'm having my quote-unquote perfect day, it doesn't matter at the time. So it's like one of those things that, did I put my best effort into that day? Then, and prep leading up to that, and be honest with yourself as opposed to just saying yes. Did you, or are you just like, is that your defense mechanism in order to be like, justify your loss? Maybe there was a little bit of things I could have improved on. Maybe I needed more sleep, maybe I could have ate better, maybe I could have, like, there's always something, right?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I don't know where I started that topic from that, where it came from. I think, anxious
Started
thoughts.
with before.
It started with
like,
the anxious
I
thoughts.
don't really do that. Let's talk about after.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I certainly do I get so anxious. It's gotten a lot better, and I've learned to tone it down. But leading up to my first year of competing, before every single competition, that whole week was just like a wash.
Right.
I couldn't focus, sleep was bad, like everything just kind of crumbled and fell apart.
Right.
I just kind of existed there.
Right. Interesting.
So, learning to get through that after the first year, I feel like that's an exception. Because everything's brand new.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing, so everything can be scary.
Yeah.
But once you have gone through 3, 4, 5 competitions,
A little more seasoned.
you roughly know what to expect. And you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel anxious about this competition. What part about it am I feeling anxious about? And you just break it down. It's like, okay, so I know these guys are better than me because they've got 5 years experience on me. And these couple guys are stronger than me, so I'm probably not going to do super great at these events, but I might be able to pull back in these ones, and you break it down systematically that way. Looking at where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, make like a projection of where you could realistically end up. And even if it's completely inaccurate, in the short term, at least for myself, it takes away that unknown feeling, what I'm actually worried about, because now I know where I'm going.
Right.
I know what the outcome's going to be.
Right.
And I can just focus on that instead.
Right. Do you feel like does your so like your first, let's rewind for that, for your first year of competing, where you were saying you were the most anxious,
Yeah.
was it just like the unknown of it is what you got anxious about, or did you feel like you didn't belong there? Did you feel not big enough, strong enough? Like, can you remember specific feelings of where those came from, or insecurities, I guess?
I'm really, really hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put myself into a competition like this, the goal every time is always just win. And like, obviously, it's a competition.
Sure.
really struggle with those thoughts of maybe I could have just pushed a little harder on the day of.
Right.
Even if you do something, and for Strongman, like, you rep it out for the entire time, but someone still does more reps than you, and even though there's literally nothing you could have done differently,
Mm-hmm.
that was all the time you had and all the effort you had, you still just sit there and think, like, okay, what if I did that better?
Right.
So for that
Yeah.
first year, every competition I get through where it's like, why didn't I do this better?
Right.
And it just compounds into the next one, and then into the next one, and then into the next one. I did like 6 competitions my first year.
Right.
Which is not recommended.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus fuck.
But I decided to do all of them.
Yep, sure. Yeah.
So that compounding.
When everyone was posted, fucking do it.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's only a 4-hour
We
drive
ride
away.
a dog.
I just go.
Yeah.
So it compounded a lot.
Right.
And at that time, I didn't really have a coach. I didn't have experience. I didn't even know about Strongman up until like a few months before I did my first competition.
Right.
Like, we've all seen the clips on TV of like World's Strongest Man, but
Sure.
you don't
Yeah.
know that there's a local level to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was just unknown combined with my own poor view of myself at that time of why couldn't I do better,
Right.
which just made the anxiety worse every time.
Right.
Then you take a long off season and you just reflect on that. That was kind of dumb. Looking back now, in hindsight, emotions are died down. You can look at it
Mm-hmm.
realistically. There was really nothing I could do. I did my best on the day, and that's all I can ask for. You come back next year, and all the competitions at that same level, you're not nearly as anxious for.
Yeah.
There'll be like one, like I gotta qualify for provincials, so like I gotta stress about this one specifically.
Right.
But then all the other ones that are just for fun don't really matter as much.
Yeah.
It's just an activity to do that day.
Yeah.
It's just a really, really heavy workout
Mm-hmm.
with like 100 different friends.
Yes. That's exactly it. Like, there's, I think, a lot of the time when people do get nervous about stuff like that, it's like, I know for Strongman too, your guys did, like, I mean, for powerlifting, it's three lifts at the same fucking time, right? I know for Strongman it changes, but it's all kind of under the same, like, an umbrella of what you guys train, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you guys know how to train, you know how to lift shit, you're just doing that in front of people yelling at you,
Pretty much, yeah.
right? So I think that's where, and on my case of powerlifting, it's squat, bench, and deadlift. You do that all the fucking time in the gym. The only difference is you're doing it in front of people yelling at you.
Yeah.
And even sometimes in the gym, people are yelling at you. Like you said, you're just doing it with either just a bigger room full of people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only difference. And I think, like, going back to what you're saying about where, like, the emotions and stuff die down, it's easier to reflect on it for sure when that emotion has died. You can logically sit back and think about it and being like, because the way you feel the day of is how you feel. It doesn't, like, it might not, logical Jared could sit here and be like, what the fuck was he thinking? But you felt how you felt on that day. You can't do anything about that now, right? So I think a lot of the time too, people try to change emotionally who they are a little bit too much when it comes to lifting. And I think it's like whatever emotional person you have, you kind of have to almost channel that and figure out how to use that to your best of your ability. I've tried before to be, I'm not an angry person at all. Like, I've lost my temper maybe twice in my whole goddamn life. Like, I have very, very low anger, very. And I tried almost a little bit too hard to become an angry lifter, where it would just felt too far away from the person I am. I can be aggressive, but I've had to learn how to do, like, different little, like, physical cues in order to bring that aggression out. Like, when I grab the barbell, I twist it a couple times before I set up for my squat, because I like the way it, like, gnarly feels on my hand, and it feels like a little more aggressive. Or when I chalk up and I like to kind of dig in here, I take a little bit more time with that, or I'll, like, rub my feet on the platform. There's a little bit of, like, physical cues that can bring in a little bit of, like, I've tied that to, like, that's me trying to strain and trying to lift. So it's kind of like getting me, like, prepared for it.
Pavlov yourself.
Yes, and I've tried things before where I was like, be a little bit more angry, and I just, like, I can't, like, it's just not there. And I've had different, like, I don't know, for anyone like listening, I've done a lot of like mental training stuff with Dave Tate, the owner of Elite FTS in Ohio, and we would talk about like traumas and stuff like that. And I would try to like dig into past traumas because that's what he like. Again, we're trying a bunch of different things, right? I would try to like dial into some trauma in order to bring out that aggression side of me, and it didn't feel like that. My trauma doesn't bring out emotions of me. It's just like a conversation. It's like, oh, what happened to you? I can talk about it, and it doesn't make me feel any sort of way that can translate to the emotion I'm trying to bring out. I just like talk about it. Whereas a lot of people can bring like they'll think of a trauma and it makes them mad.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, I'm like now I'm ready. I don't have that. There was no part of me that could bring that out. I'm a huge chip on my shoulder person. Like I can grow the biggest goddamn chip. So if someone like tells me that I can't do something, that's enough for me. Like that's good. That's enough. And I can focus on that feeling the day of and or the moment of or whatever I'm trying to get out of that feeling. Like I'm a very chip on my shoulder, but I'm not a grudge person. So it's interesting on how I can have both without them like kind of fighting each other.
Yeah.
So, but the chip on my shoulder very much works because I've had a lot of experience of people telling me that I'm not able to do something, and I'm like, oh, fucking like watch this. Or I love that thought. That's why I like performing in front of people. I might not be the strongest there that day, but I want everyone to watch.
Yeah.
Like that's how I perform, I guess, is very much like sometimes I'll even make it up. Like sometimes I'll make up that somebody in the audience has said that I can't do something. I won't even know who it is. I'll just be like, someone out there thinks you can't. It might not even been said to me, but it's enough to be like, oh, like watch this. And so I can translate that to the two. Where
That's a really long phone number. 1 second.
Does it have an actual name here? It's Facebook. That's weird.
A Facebook? That's weird. Someone's calling you on FaceTime? That's strange.
Yeah.
Facebook number. Fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Lizard Man's after me.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think like sometimes you might even have to make up like certain stories of things. Like I've made up things of like saying someone thinks I'm about have a bad squat, or like I'll make up little like stories sometimes. I know they're not real, but sometimes and maybe someone is saying it but hasn't said it to my face.
Yeah.
But I'll like think about it being like someone thinks you have a shitty squat, like you better show them. Like things like that of where I better show you is like the number one thing I think of, or like having something to prove. And it doesn't even have to be someone specific. I don't even have to be thinking of a particular person at that particular time. If someone happens to say it closer to, I can think about them, but at that time, if it doesn't happen, then I'll just like make up that somebody thinks this about me. And that's enough to kind of bring out this little bit more like that, I said, that chip on my shoulder kind of feel.
Yeah. I certainly go more the angry route.
Yeah, cool. Let's talk about that. I like that.
I'm not an angry person in general.
Mm-hmm.
I do have like really quick flashes of frustration and anger.
Mm-hmm.
But all through my whole childhood, like I had to learn to just cap it off.
Right.
Like as unhealthy as it is, cap it and you stuff it down.
Yeah, sure.
I'm push it for later.
Oh, fuck, yeah, I'll bottle everything. Yeah.
Just leave it there.
Yeah.
So when I go to lift, I go through those really deep breathing techniques that are supposed
Yeah.
to spike your adrenaline.
Yeah.
There's no specific thing I'm thinking about to make me angry. I'm not thinking about an event or something or somebody that wronged me or anything like that. Like my rage is a lot more calculated.
Mm-hmm. It's controlled rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I force myself to have that adrenaline spike, and then I just let some of what I've pushed down for the last however months
Sure.
come
Yeah.
out for a bit.
Yeah.
The only
I
big
never thought about
downside
that.
to that
Yeah.
is after the competition, not only are you physically drained, but emotionally you're done.
Yes.
Like, you just pass out.
Yes. Yeah. That's a very interesting point. I never thought of that. Of where it may not even be like a specific event. It could just be like all that like frustration or things that you have ignored. Because I'm a bottler too, where
Yeah.
I'll push it down or I try my very best to not show people when I'm hurting. So I guess all that, maybe that does come onto the like, that could even complement the like chip on your shoulder thing of where it's like, it's finally coming out a little bit. It's still.
It might not look like anger, but it's still like the underlying feeling of, I'm going to show you that you're wrong.
Yes, and that's a very, very good point of where it doesn't have to be, like you said, you're not thinking of a specific person or event. It's just whatever has been repressed or pushed down. You're like, I'm gonna let myself feel that a little bit more. So it lets you feel that emotion to get that, like you said, that adrenaline going. But then post comp,
you're just done.
Yeah.
And if the comp went well, it's a good long week of like just that high feeling. You're just happy, you're chilling.
Yeah.
If the comp went bad, because you just let all of your emotions out.
You let all your demons out. You're like, fuck.
Just, like, sad, depressed for the whole week.
You're like,
you'll rebound and resettle, but it just makes that last probably way longer than it should.
Yes, that's a good point. Where you're just like, now I feel just hungover the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And I think like, having to sit with that for a little bit. God damn, why did I almost let, when it's bad me, you're almost like, why did I let that out? Now I feel all of this, right?
Not worth it.
Yeah. Do you have like, do you use any memories of anything in order to like whether it's like even like a competition feeling of something or a gym feeling or memory, I guess?
I wouldn't say that I go for a memory.
Yeah.
What I go through when I'm doing my lifting, it's just like brain off, eyes off. Like, there's judges and like the crowd in front of me, but even when I'm training here, somebody could be like saying my name and walking in front of me. I'm not processing.
No.
If you ask, like, you watch a car crash happen in front of you and they're like, who did it? I don't know. I was doing a log press, like, even though I was looking straight at them, didn't see it. Your comprehension wasn't there.
Yes.
So when I'm in training, I pick specific songs that have a really heavy drop point.
Yeah.
So while it's building up to that, going through the breathing, turning the brain off, spiking the adrenaline, the drop point happens, and you just go.
Right.
In competition, you can't have earbuds in because you need to hear the judges.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that same, like, while they're waiting, get your athlete ready, you start doing the breathing, they say go, and that acts the same way.
Right.
Instead of music, it's just people yelling in the background.
Right, exactly, yeah. So you have that, like, it's like, it, like, triggers it, but you're not having to have your headphones in and, like, going through the...
And I'm not thinking of a past situation. It's just brain off, only feelings.
Yes, yeah. Have you seen, because I can think of definitely a lot of different athletes that almost get, like, too high above the, like, arousal.
I've
like,
seen many of those.
Yes. Have you ever got to that point where you're like, I got a little too, like, worked up on that, and you had to work on bringing it back down, or have you not had that?
In training, for sure.
Yeah.
Because when you're in training, you could have, like, a fresh moment that's like, cut deep.
Mm-hmm.
And you just try to, like, throw that away right away, because I got a gym session today. How convenient.
Yeah.
You just go a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And you either, at least for myself, I either end up tweaking something, that sets you back for the rest of the week, or you just brutally fail the lift because you rushed it.
Yeah.
You set up right.
Right.
Turned your brain off a little too quickly.
Yeah. It's very, like, when I talk to even clients for that, it's like, when you miss a lift, it's very, very rare that it was a weight issue. It's usually mental or it's usually technical. And sometimes when you get too high above that, like, arousal peak, it's usually one of those two things, like you said, the mental or the technical aspect. Yeah. And it's like I always think of, like, when you're at the gym, that's where you're like, that's your practice time, right? That's like you practicing your sport in the sense of practicing over and over again, so that when you're at the day of competition, you're not at practice anymore. No. You're like, it's game time. That's what the whole leading up to it is, right? Like, and so then you don't have to be thinking about. Sometimes if you use this, I'd be interested to know how that translates over to Strongman. But sometimes, because I'm not very, like, lifting came very hard to me. Like, I voiced this in the last YouTube video of where, like, I don't have very good, like, mind-muscle connection, but I'll practice technique a lot.
Yeah.
And so now my technique is pretty decent and I have some like a little bit more muscle that I can actually connect to, like those different things. But when I go to a competition, sometimes I'll like overly focus on one area that I know that will help me. So for like a squat, I'm like, because it's going to be the third attempt, for example, I'm like, if I brace harder than I've ever braced before, that weight is coming up. So it's a little bit of like that visualization, but translating something over physical that I know I have to do. So it's like, if I just brace to the best of my abilities and like break that belt, like I keep repeating something like that, then that weight is just going to fly and I can like see myself lifting it. Do you have either like a visualization thing? Like, can you see yourself complete the lift before you do that, or do you not have that as much?
I did do that a lot in the first 2 years.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point where 90% of the weights that I lift now, I can surpass them in training.
I see.
Especially at just the local level.
Yeah.
So I struggle with that. I'm gonna visualize myself doing it
Because
I've
you've
just
seen yourself
actually done it so many times.
Yeah.
When I'm in situations like that, it's more of just, let's just set a new little tiny PR.
Right.
Rather than, I'm doing this is going to be a huge big thing for me. I'm just going to go and I'm going to do what I already know I can.
Right.
I'm not so much, like, the lifting itself came a little more naturally to me. Like, I did martial arts all through my childhood, and then did calisthenics for like a year and a bit, and then switched over to this, so I have really good body awareness outside of my lats.
Right, yeah.
So I do a lot of things. Like, if anybody ever looks back on my old blog videos or my deadlift videos, before I do any lift, I just really aggressively slam my shoulders and elbows in. People are like, why are you rowing your log? I'm like, slow it down. My arms don't actually bend. It just looks like I do that because it's so different from what you do.
Yeah.
You just tighten them, you're good to go, but mine don't turn on.
Yes.
I have to force them to stay.
Yes, right.
So I'll go through those cues a lot, but it's not something that I think about anymore. It's just part of the setup.
Right. It's just like kind of physically. It's like walking. Like it
Yeah.
just comes like you're ready to lift something. This is just what your body does in order to lift it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Do you have like a certain cue that you repeat in your head at all? Like brace, lats, glutes,
before
or
I'm
something?
doing it, yeah. While I'm doing it, silence.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do. Of like the during, unless you're grinding through something so slow that you're like, how the fuck can I, like, what other muscle can I use to get through this? You know those lifts where you're taking like, it feels like you've been there for like minutes and you're like, I feel like I have enough time to reflect on my entire fucking life.
It's doing those record scratch freeze frames, but you're wondering how I got.
Yeah, exactly.
Flashback,
yeah, exactly. And it's like you being born in the hospital. Like it's like one of those lifts. Like sometimes I'll have moments of those where I'm like, what other fucking muscle can I use right now in order to finish this lift? But same thing, it's very hard to think about stuff when you're doing it.
For me, when I'm failing a lift, a lot of it is right at the start. So for a deadlift, if I can get it off the floor, I can finish it.
Right.
If I don't get it off the floor, that's the problem.
Right.
So while I'm going through that setup, it's just I'm not pulling it off the floor until you hit that perfect balance point, wedging into it. That's where I've struggled a lot with after I fixed the lats.
Right.
But it was finding that balance point for that. So if I can hit that and pull, I'm good. As soon as I'm off that point, silence.
Right.
While I'm finding it, it's just a constant thing.
Right.
And then if we use something like log, cleaning it's always been fine. I count the start of the log press once it's up on my shoulders.
Right.
If I can keep the elbows up and I can actually leg drive properly, it's gonna go. So while I'm doing the leg drive, it's knees out. That's what's helped me to actually get my hips involved.
Right.
So it's knees out, knees out, knees out, and then throw it.
And once it's like, when you're already here.
Yeah, once
so
it's up here, that's when I
start.
start doing the repeating.
Right.
Because I can always get it here.
Right.
It's never been a problem.
Right. That's never been the struggle point of your lift.
Yeah.
Or for that lift, sorry.
Yeah.
And then so let's say your first, like, doesn't matter which one it is. I mean, for my sport, it's always the same one. It's always squat, right? The very first lift, though, do you have, like, a routine that you do leading up to the platform? Do you have, like...
I'm really bad for this.
Yeah?
And I'm going to admit this on the internet. I don't warm up.
You're sure? Yeah. You go in cold, fuck it.
It's either, for strongman, it's almost always deadlift or overhead that's first. If it's overhead, I'll go and take like an empty log and throw it up a couple times just to make sure that like, my shoulders are feeling good.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Fuck me,
So
really?
it's like 80 pounds, empty log, 225. For deadlift, if they've got a bar loaded up and it's like sub 450, I'll go and pull on it a couple times. Just be like, all right, this is where the balance point is today.
All right, this
And
is
we
what
just
it
go
is. Yeah.
So I'm really bad for that. I know, like, don't do that. That's absolutely
Don't
not how
compete
you
6 times
should
in a
do
year.
that. Don't, yeah. Not how you should do it. You should go through a proper warm up. But for a lot of my preps, it's been like right up to the competition. I'll have like 3 or 4 days of rest.
Yeah.
But I'm like right up to there and then ready and rested and I just go.
Right.
I haven't hurt myself doing that. So like it's never been a big thing to change.
Mm-hmm.
This competition that's in 3 days, I haven't done a workout session in 10.
Right.
Like it's gonna be 2 full weeks by the time the competition starts.
Right.
And then before that, I hadn't finished a full week of training in like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Just personal shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to go through a bunch of warm-ups just to make sure my technique is still there.
Right.
It's gonna be a whole brand new learning curve for me.
Interesting. We'll do a video post that and see
Yeah.
what your thoughts are on
I'll
that.
actually come up with a pre-lift routine or something.
Damn.
I make my athletes do that.
Of course
like,
you do.
no exceptions. You
Yeah.
have to warm up properly.
Yes.
I am a hypocrite and I do not.
Yeah, that's right. Do it as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The embodiment.
Yeah. It's you're being the guinea pig, so you know what not to do for them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm very good at saying that doesn't work.
Yeah. And
Ask
I
me how I
know,
know.
based on experience.
Yeah.
So then the day before, like, if you're like, I assume for you, here, you'd be just chilling at home, but if you're out of town, you're just chilling in the hotel. Do you do any, like, mobility or stuff the day before? Do you have, like, like mobility, or do you have, like, a certain video or thing you listen to or book you read, or?
I'll go through just some basic stretches, just stay loose, get some blood flow going, and that's really it with movement stuff. Maybe I'll go for a walk if I'm feeling really good.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of my competitions that I've had to do more recently, say in the last 12 months,
Yeah.
I've had a water cut for them.
Yes, me too.
So it's a week of hell,
Yeah.
and then a full day of just, I need to get as much electrolytes into my body as possible.
Yeah.
I'm not moving, I'm sitting here and I'm just drinking water all day.
Yeah.
I don't have the brain capacity to even think about anything. There's no routine, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just hydration.
Yes. Yes.
So, I would say currently, day before prep, I don't have one other than fueling as good as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That may change,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have a good example at the moment.
No, not one yet. No. But it's like, once especially, if someone hasn't done a water cut before, both our sports get the 24-hour weigh-in, so you get the full 24 hours in order to, like, get your electrolytes back up, refuel, stuff like that. And I'm the same way with I don't even know the last time I haven't done a cut for my meat has been. I can usually gain about that 15 pounds back in 24 hours. So I'm the same as you, where it's just like the whole day is I literally just eat, drink, and sleep. I do a lot of lacrosse ball rolling in like my hotel room, because I haven't done one in Kamloops before, where I've been at home in years. So I'll like roll the lacrosse ball. I have 2 books that I do listen to. I have a couple chapters that I've picked out. There's Relentless, it's from Tim Grover, and then Winning, which is also by Tim Grover. So I listen to both of those. There's one about Kobe that's like my favorite kind of chapter to listen to.
Okay.
And I've listened to this book so many fucking times that I'll just go through and pick out like different pieces of each chapter that I really want to re-listen to.
Yeah.
Or I'll watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan.
Okay.
I do watch that. Those are my 3 things. There's also there is a good video. It's old now, I guess, from Elite FTS. It's from Dave Tate, and it's Into the Void, and he talks about his like leading up to bench. I'm sure a lot of lifters have listened to it.
Yeah.
I do listen to that sometimes too, but kind of the same idea of where like I'm just kind of trying to get my body back to where it feels full and like ready to compete the next day. So that'll be kind of sometimes where I'll be like laying in bed and I'll listen to like those things, or I do bring my like lifting journal with me, and sometimes I'll write some stuff down. It kind of, I rotate through those things based off of like closer to what mood I'm in of what I need to bring out. So if I'm like, you need to like see your feelings in front of you written down, then I'll write stuff down. Or like I kind of pivot based off of what I'm feeling or what I've gone through that week leading up to it, what work was like, what my relationship was like, what interactions with clients have been. And then obviously for people that are traveling, sometimes that can make a big difference too, how your body feels being on a plane, being in a car, that kind of stuff. So that's how I'll base off being in my room of how much I need to get up and move if I'm like been laying or sitting for too long. So it's kind of one of those things that I rotate through those things, but only move them around based off of what I'm starting to feel of what I need to fix that day, I guess, too. Same thing with us, like the day of the meet, you can listen to music and stuff like that, but on the platform, you have to listen to judges and stuff like that. So I try not to get, like I've had some really, like I like aggressive music when it comes to my lifting, but I try not to get an emotional attachment to music because I don't want to rely on that, right? Like I don't want to have, I think about if like something were to happen where I can't listen to the music the day of, I still want to be in the right mindset in order to perform, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll try to like, sometimes during training I usually, for my training, I'll put on like whatever. I don't really listen to what's going on most of the time, unless if I am trying to go for PR, then I'll put this song on. But I try not to get as like emotionally dependent on it because I don't want to be that either. I don't want to have to rely off of that 100%. It helps, right? But like, it's just, I don't want it to corrupt what I'm doing that day either, right?
Yeah.
So I've tried before to listen to different things just to like kind of test me a little bit in order to see how I perform with different music choices. Like I've tried to listen to like slow, like Josh Groban, like really slow stuff before to see like how I react to things like that, so that it's just not becoming like fully dependent on it, because you want to be present of what you're doing on the platform, right? So
I'm caught in the middle with music.
Yeah.
I don't have like an emotional attachment to the songs that I use.
Yeah.
But I can't muster up the same level of effort without a go command.
Yeah. Right. Which is like you said, that drop for you, right?
So like, I need the music, and I will get like attached to certain songs because they just have a really good go.
Yeah.
But I don't feel the need for it on comp day.
No.
I'll listen to stuff, just chill and wait for the next event.
Yeah.
But it's not those songs.
No.
Because those are just the go
Those
songs.
are the go songs. Those are the start gun in a race.
Yeah.
Right? So, which is very like, you can't be on the platform, have your headbuds in, be ready to lift, you have your go command in here. It's your go command from somebody else, right? Which, if you needed to, you could use that go command of whatever song that you've listened to before to be like, that's the drop right there, right? And I think, and if anyone has competed, they know the adrenaline you get from everyone like cheering and yelling and being around you, right? You try to put on, essentially you're trying to put on a performance,
pretty much,
right?
Yeah.
Like, again, if you're not going to be the strongest one there that day, you still want people to remember you.
Oh.
Right? So it's leaving your mark somewhere, right? Or like, I didn't start realizing this until, because I think in the first couple of years I was so nervous. I was so nervous to be there. I didn't like really know what my role was, and the longer that I've been doing it, the more I've remembered the people that have really helped me or the nice things that they've said. I try to do and say and do nice things for people that I'm competing with or against.
Yeah.
It's still a competition, but I do like, I remember, in the first couple of meets, people like helping me with warm-ups. And so if there's also somebody that's like not, maybe it's their first meet, like try to help them out and try to like, because that makes you feel good too, of where you're like, oh, well, I'm doing something to help somebody else as well. and it doesn't take away from what you're doing,
No.
but it can actually like compliment you because somebody is like maybe their first time and you've been competing for 15 years, they might already know who you are. And so if you're going to help them leave a lasting impact for them, I think that also says more about being like an athlete too, of how you make the other people in the sport feel, because they're going to forget what you squatted.
Or even like a slightly separate, same idea, sharing equipment. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's like
100%.
that in powerlifting, but in strongman it's super common. Like I've lent my belt and my straps and chalk and smelling salts
Totally.
to people that I'm competing directly against.
Yes, yeah,
Because I don't want to win because you forgot your straps.
yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
want to win because I was a little bit better than you that
yes,
day.
yeah,
And I don't want you to feel like I could have done better if I brought my straps.
yes,
Because everybody's experienced that.
yeah,
There's no need for all of us to do it again.
no,
If I've got the same piece of equipment and you just borrow it for 2 minutes, give it back to me,
fuck is the
what's the
difference?
harm, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's,
They're gonna think so much more highly of you next time they see you.
Yeah,
And then other people are gonna see you do that, and it just creates just it's a much better environment.
yeah, creates a better community.
Yeah.
And so it makes the community better because you know you're like helping somebody else out, and it also helps that person, I think, better as an athlete because it gives them less excuses.
For
So
sure.
they can go past that and be like, I would have done better if I had my straps, if I had my belt, if I had chalk. I gave you all those things. So I just got rid of 3 excuses for you. So
Yeah.
now what do you have?
Now go
Right.
do it.
Yeah, exactly. Now go do it. And then there's really, if you don't lift something, sometimes you're just not strong enough yet.
Skill issue.
And it's a skill issue. You can't believe my straps though, motherfucker. Like,
Because I did it with them. It's not them. We know
yeah,
that.
I know they're not broken.
They're
I
coming
just
between us
tested
two
it
now.
out. Yeah, I just tested it out. Have you ever tried getting like slapped across the face, or do you like slap in the back? Do you like anything like a physical?
The first time I ever went to set singles for PRs back at strength camp,
Mm-hmm.
one of the coaches there did slap me on the back. It echoed through the gym. You
Yeah.
can hear it in the video. That doesn't work for me.
No,
That's
not the one.
like for a lot of people it gets them it spikes that aggression.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't do that for me.
No.
It just hurts.
Right, hurts. Just when you get kind of like irritated, but not in a positive
Yeah,
way.
and then you're like, you get slapped and you go to do a bench and you're like, well, I just can't fucking pinch the same now because I'm swollen.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, now I'm annoyed. Yeah.
Much more of a salts guy.
Yeah, I love smelling salts. I love goddamn smelling salts. I would take that shit for breakfast. I fucking love a smelling salt
Long
breakfast.
drives overnight time, just keeping your cup
Oh
there, just
yeah,
kinda hot off, you're like,
just kidding. Oh fuck, I want it as an air freshener. Like I fucking love smelling salts, and I try to be selective of when I use them because I would use them for anything. I would use them Christmas shopping at Walmart if I could.
like Karen's getting to me and just
Yeah, gotta hit this. Yeah, I would be fully addicted, and yeah, that's
competitions and RPE 9 or 10 days.
yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
If
that's
the bottle
it.
gets wasted, it gets wasted. But
Yeah.
it's better that they work next time I need them.
Yeah.
I'm not like immune to them by then.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need them for fucking family dinner. Like,
You get too used to it, and you have to buy the expensive ones. It's just
yeah, exactly. Or the ones that are like, do you like the ones that hit right away or the ones that are delayed?
I like the immediate hit.
Yeah.
You hit it, and then spend the next 30 seconds walking up
Yeah,
to whatever you're gonna do, so
Yes.
it subsides a little bit.
yeah,
I get really shaky for the first few seconds.
yeah,
So I need that slight time.
yeah. You need that
But I
walk-up
don't want to
time.
have to try to time it if they don't hit.
Yeah, yeah. I
'Cause
agree
know
with
as
that.
soon as I hit it, I know it's there.
Mhm.
Versus hit it and wait.
Yeah.
It's just not.
The hit it and wait is weird because you're like, I hit it, wait, and then I don't like waiting, and so I'm like, hit it, wait, hit again, then the wait happens. I'm like, oh
You get
shit,
two.
that was too fucking much. Like, now I'm bleeding from my eyes.
Out of context, this sounds a lot like we're talking about drugs.
Yeah. Say maybe to drugs and smelling salts. Don't get it confused with bath salts.
Very different.
Different. How do you, because sometimes for our competition, sometimes you can have a competition that's like 4 hours long. Sometimes you can have ones that have been up to like 10 to 12, like just really depending on like how.
Strongman's pretty consistent.
Okay.
It's usually like start at 9 or 10.
Yeah.
End at like 5.
Okay. Yeah.
For a 5 event day.
Yeah.
The comp in 3 days is a 2-day comp.
Mhm.
So it's 3 and 3.
Yeah.
But each day is still like 6 hours long.
Right.
It's like 2 full hours per event.
Mhm.
I haven't seen any other layouts other than those 2.
Right.
Like the occasional, like this is a 6 event comp in 1 day, but it still takes roughly the same time because they pick one event that's easy and fast to set up.
Mhm.
So
It's about the same time. So then, how do you? Because sometimes, like once you've done like a PR and you're on a fucking high, you're like ready to go right away. What do you do between like events and between between the next event to like either settle yourself down or like not stay, because you obviously can't stay
yeah,
on that high the whole time because then you fucking are worn out.
I go and watch the video of the lift, and I take a few minutes and just analyze the things that I did right and the things that I did wrong, and just make note while they're fresh.
Yeah.
And then I'll just sit on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'll just drink Gatorade, eat some carbs, and just breathe, let my heart rate settle.
Mhm.
And then once I'm balanced again, I just start talking to people.
Yeah. So that was gonna be my next question. Like some people are very like, don't talk to me the whole time during a competition, and I've seen obviously people are like, don't fucking talk to me, because I always try to think of like, even if it's my first time meeting someone, like my first time meeting someone like a lifter, I always think like, this person and competition day person, I always think of them as 2 different people.
Oh yeah.
So, are you like, can you go and like talk to somebody and like have some jokes and have fun, or are you just like leave me alone the whole time, kind of?
If I'm
lifter?
doing well, I will just be chatty the whole day.
Right.
I'll just bounce around between people. I'll try to pick up the people that are feeling down and like
Yeah.
get them smiling again.
Yeah.
If I'm really struggling and it's a comp that matters, by the time I get to the second last event,
Mhm.
I'm just like headphones in, and I'm just staying locked in.
Yeah.
You keep the high.
Yeah.
And I will just ride it for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think it very much depends on the athlete that you can change based off of how long you have competed for,
Yeah.
right? Like you start to become really self-aware of, oh, this is too far from me of what I normally do, or like this is, I can't think of a different word, but this is unhealthy, I need to change it right now. Like you start to become more aware of your routine, your habits, where your mindset's at, the longer you've been doing it, I think, because it ties into that self-awareness part.
At recognizing when it's too far for myself. So I like keep the handler. Their job is to reel me back in when I'm thinking too much about it. When I'm not.
You mean weight choices?
Not even weight choices, just emotions in between. I will take it way too far.
Mm-hmm.
If let's just say I've been struggling, but I get first on the last one and I'll be top 3. I'm not gonna be the nicest person between there. I'm just gonna be fully like locked in my own world, probably ignoring all the things that I should be doing, like hydrating and eating food.
Do you become a shit talker?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Like I will shut down.
Right.
And I'll just lock myself in myself. So I will need my handler to just come pull me back out a little bit. Otherwise I will just bomb the last event.
Right. Yeah.
There's not too many cases of weight choices in Strongman.
Mm-hmm.
There's at most one max weight event. The other ones, there may be a trump weight, but you know ahead of time if the heavier one or not.
Right. Yeah.
So like, it's not too many choices. It's just kind of show up and lift like they said to lift.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of an emotional game for that.
Do you have like, so if you have your handler, do they have like a certain like phrase, or they just like, hey man, you have to come back here, or like come back down to earth, or what is it that you like? What are your expectations of them? I guess.
Just to remind me that I will fuck up if I keep going.
Right.
Like they don't have to do anything specifically. They just need to remind me of the things that I'm choosing to ignore. Bring it to the forefront, and then it's like, you're right. This is why I brought you. Like, oh,
Right.
reel it in.
Kind of bring a little bit more like logic back to you
Yeah,
as well.
just round things out again.
Right. Keep you grounded. Yeah, I guess would be a good way to like describe that too.
I imagine it's different for powerlifting because you have full control over what you lift.
Yeah, you have full control over what you lift, and this can be kind of rewound into the visualization part of what we were talking about before, of like, I believe that I should be lifting more than I do.
Yeah.
Way more than like I should. Like I haven't. So I'm the person that's like, I have to really think logically after I've done something, because I'm like, fucking like throw 20 pounds on that bench. Like, fuck it, let's go. Like my pec tears a like if I die, I die. Like that's and so that's been kind of one of those learning things too, of like, I actually do better with more warm-ups, right? So I do better with more warm-ups under me. A little bit smaller weight jumps when I get closer to my maxes of things, but I've always been a little bit better of like an endurance athlete and stuff like that. So I have to do more warm-ups, more singles in order to get to my main lift. I'm also not a very not a huge person, but like I definitely need, especially when I get like closer to like, I'll use bench in this example, when I get closer to like my 245 mark on bench, I need those like, about from 225, I need only like 5 pound jumps.
Yeah.
Or else it can like really like, it'll really crush me, even if I've lifted that weight before. But it's just, I need more warm-ups and more reps under me in order to get more primed to lift whatever it is I need to lift.
Yeah.
I think that's also like comes down to kind of like a female thing too.
I was gonna say, because I feel like I've
that's
read a thing that was like, women are actually technically better for strength sports because they can sustain that higher force production for longer.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
It is true.
I'm not citing anything.
It is true. I still want to say to people like you, because I said that just before, where it was like, oh, women are like, we're better at actual repetitions and better at like longer workouts.
Like I could do more for one, but if you had to do like just a bit less, you could do 3, 4, 5.
Exactly, you go longer, right? Yes. And so I didn't want to say that, but I want the viewers to be like, you hate men, and I'm like, no, it's just
it's a real study.
It's a real
I just
thing.
don't
Yeah.
remember where it is.
Yes. So I had a man say it's fine. So, but my problem is I want to like just lift all of it. So I'm just like, I'll want to make unrealistic weight choices and stuff like that. So that's the thing of with powerlifting, where you can like only do, and you get to pick the next weight jump, which is handy in that way. But it also like sometimes can be a little bit more complicated if you are like a first time lifter, handling yourself as well, or even like if you don't have someone there, like a voice of reason to be like, man, that lift looked like it gained like 10 years off your life, and you want to go up like 20 pounds, like, are you sure? Like, and everyone that you competing, like, everyone that's there is all in the exact same like fucking like loaded up. Everyone's in the loaded up mode, right?
Everyone wants to see some cool shit.
Exactly, yeah. Like it's like dance for me, monkey. Like they want you to lift some shit. So you sometimes need that voice of reason there. If you can be, acknowledge that. Like that's not a weakness in order to be like, man, that's not my strong point. If you need someone there to be your voice of reason, to be like you probably have like 5 pounds in you. And because a lot of the time, and this is for like, I'm talking powerlifting experience, if you get your third lift as well, people always be like, you should have done more. Everyone's always like, you could have done more, you should have done more. And you're like,
it was like a really ugly lift.
Oh man, even if it was like a grind, people are like, oh, you had like another lift, like another 5 pounds in you, and you're like, fucking rewind that clip.
And
like,
do you think that they're serious in that? Or do you think it's more of just a common courtesy where people will walk around the gym and be like, oh, good lift, man, or like you're trying to hype up your buddies?
I think that if it's a 10 out of 10 lift, if it's like an 8 even, people will be like, you had more weight in you, right? Like it's like, you should be like leaving it all out there, which a lot of the time, the nice thing too about like a third attempt that looks like a good third attempt is like, okay, I have more in me for the next meet, or I have more in me for training, or I have like, it's not always like, it doesn't always have to be this like disgusting grind of where you're bleeding from your face, but that's really what people want to see, right? People want you to like take the blood off and like smear it across your cheeks after. So I think it's one of those things that like, if you walk away from a meet with somebody saying that like, oh, you had more in you. That doesn't mean you slacked. That just means that, like, there's a little bit left in you for hopefully another PR in your next meet. Like, maybe there is another 5 pounds there that, you know, you could, maybe even more, but maybe another 5 pounds that you get into with, like, another good 6 months of training or something like that, right?
Yeah. If we rewind just a little bit, back to the weight jumps thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's an obvious answer if you have somebody there or a handler,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't have anybody and you're somebody like yourself who wants to just shoot for the moon and put way too much on there,
Yeah.
how do you like gauge that? How do you pull yourself back?
I write it on the back of my cards. So, like, I'll write, like, 2 to 3 different, like, weight attempts
Okay.
on that. And I think that's just honestly, like, learning to be more honest with yourself. I think that's just, like, looking back and being like, what is it that, because you get a minute to change it too, right? So, like, you get a minute to put in your attempt. So, if I look back on that and I think, okay, it was technical or it was mental, which one was it? Okay, it was technical. Okay, if you get more air, can you do it? Yeah. Okay, so you can make more, like, accurate jump choices once you start asking yourself a bit more questions and being realistic with your answers of it.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, fuck it, load it on. It's like, okay, or has it, because always my first attempt is always something I've hit.
Yeah.
Always, right? Something I can wake up at 2 in the morning, go smoke it, I'm good, right? I can always hit it. I always want to be guaranteed on the board.
Yes.
I don't want to bomb out of a meet. So my second one would be like, is that it's usually not a PR, or sometimes it usually won't be like a gym PR, but it might be a comp PR as my second attempt.
Okay.
So then I'll be able to be like, okay, is that there this day, or am I just gonna have to go for, like, below that, maybe go for a PR on my third one? You know how your first one goes, also based on how your lights went. If you're like, oh, my depth was in, and you think you're gonna go like 30-pound jump on your squat and hit depth, can you? Probably not. So I think it's one of those things, like, kind of looking at the lights. Okay, it was one judge that said I wasn't low enough. Could I, like, hit the same or a little bit lower? Probably. So then I can do 15-pound jump. So it's kind of just becoming more familiar with yourself and how and what kind of lifter you are.
Yeah.
How I judge it based on people is I know where somebody is going to fail pretty much the second they start lifting. And so, especially the longer I've seen someone do it, if I've been training the same client for years and years and years, I can usually know, I should know, where they're going to miss their lift, right? So if their knees are buckling on their opener, I'm like, fuck, they're not going to force those out at, I'm starting random numbers out here now, but, like, they can't force that shit out at 320, but I think they can at 310. Okay, 310. Okay, sweet. Knees were out, let's go for 320 on that third one. And then that's the difference too of, like, competition after competition, basing those numbers off of putting those numbers into training so that in the meet you can hopefully beat those numbers. You should always be wanting to beat in powerlifting for your competition numbers, right? That's where it counts the most. And also, I think, like, in the gym, more variables are controlled than at a competition, right?
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, my squat wasn't very good. Maybe I'll come back and hit it tomorrow. Maybe I'll take a day and just, like, maybe you need a day. Maybe you need some more rest. Okay, so I came back the next day, I smoked 330 on my squat. And then I'm at a competition and my 300 opener, my squat is a fucking grind. Okay, now it's just time to recalculate. I think a lot of the time, especially for, like, this coaches in this instant, but if you are an athlete and a coach, a lot of it is problem solving, a lot of it is pivoting. Like, a lot of it is, okay, now what? Now what? Making decisions quickly as you can, but also being like, what's realistic here? What's a smart choice? And what's also gonna guarantee, like, what's gonna help me get that win? Like,
Yeah.
if me and someone are close in squats, maybe I have them in bench, maybe we're close in deadlift. The deadlift is gonna be a battle. That's also where you kind of want to get a little bit more, like if it comes down to that deadlift, let's say you guys are, like, really close in squat and bench and your totals are pretty close now, and your deadlift is going to be the one that's going to really solidify it. That's where it kind of gets more, like, technical, because you also don't want to make, like, too big of a shot of where you want to smoke this person on your, like, second and third deadlift, because, like, What if you miss those two? What if they miss their third? Then you could have got yours on your second. Stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So it's a lot of that is just like a lot of problem solving, but also being just like, I think, realistic of what your training was like too, of where you're like, oh, I know I can hit my 320 squat. Worst day, I can wake up, feel shitty and still be able to hit it. And I think like a lot of the time for people, just being confident under that weight. And I think sometimes people get a little bit too scared of weight, and I think that's where it works to their detriment. So you're nervous at a meet, you're shaking, you're like, I just want to get the squat done and over with, and you start changing your position or start like letting your brain take over of what you physically know what you're able to do.
Yeah.
And whether it's a PR or whatever, I always think that I control the weight doesn't control me, and that seems to give me like the most confident feeling going up to it, because I'm like, oh, this is my weight. Like this doesn't crush, sometimes it does crush me, but I'm not going into it with that thought, right? And I think a lot of the time, like when you are controlled and going up to the bar, it's almost like a meditative state, right? Like you're just like, and again, when you're going back to your previous comment about like the green traffic accident right in front of you, who did it, you have no fucking idea. It's like, when I see the platform, and I see like the bar, it's like the bar almost has this like glow to it. It's almost like there's everything else is kind of like just fuzzy in the like background. And that bar just like glows to me. It's just like, it's very amplified, it's very zoomed in, and it's just like, oh, this is all just me and you right now. Like we're ready to dance. And so when it goes up to just like, that's why my routine is like, my routine to pick up a bar is so the fucking same. It is like the exact same fucking setup every goddamn time. The way I grab the bar, right hand, I twist it, K, I'm watching K, left hand, twist to K. Like it's the fucking same every time.
Yeah.
And that's just like part of the routine, part of the regiment. Even when like, because for powerlifting, the cue, like for squat, for example, the signal is this to down, right? So the bar is like completely clear, everyone else is fuzzy. Like they're just kind of like background. And when I grab the bar and I set up, even when I see the hand signal go, it's still only a little bit clearer. It's still kind of fuzzy. I listen for it. Like I listen because you can go squat, right? But even when I'm like there underneath the bar and I know I have to pay attention to that judge, the hand is like, I can see the motion of it, but I couldn't tell you what they were wearing. I couldn't tell you those kind of things, right? It's just like, okay, I see the motion, but I'm listening more than anything.
Fair.
And so it's just kind of like, it's just like me and this bar are just like ready to dance, and everyone else is just like here to watch the show. So it's very like, I think being in that like, I think the meditative state part really helps me, because it makes me feel so in control, and I like being in control.
Yeah.
And so when there's like, when I can feel everything, I can, like I said, I can feel that bar, I can feel like the grind on my back, and all those different things. I like the way those things make me feel. It makes me feel very like at one with it. And I think a lot of the time, like, especially when people try to meditate, they get distracted by a bunch of other things, right? And I think with like powerlifting, it is meditative. People just don't translate it to the two, because they think it's so like, you know, you're straining, it's a max. It's not like sitting there and essentially
you're doing something.
Yeah.
Versus just
you're just
doing
very
nothing.
Yeah, you're dialed and you're focused, and like,
It's like,
you know, you're not thinking
outward meditation.
Yeah, you're not thinking about all the other shit going on in your life, and because those problems are still going to be there in 6 hours when the meet is done. But do you have any like? I've tried a bunch of like different like meditative states. Is there stuff that you do before the gym, after the gym, anything like for training? Sorry, like not competition day, but like
Just
training.
for training.
Yeah, is there anything that you like as far as routine or getting you into the gym, or starting into training, anything like that?
It's just a lot of breath work.
Yeah.
I use that as my signals,
Mm-hmm.
the same way that I use it to trigger the adrenaline. I use the same thing to bring it back down. It's just setting a different intention while you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will only do that if I have time.
Right. Yes.
I am very good at like booking myself back to back. So
Yes.
It's like, all right, bars down, clean it up. I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And
Right. You don't have time.
Yeah,
to,
if you can make the time, you should.
Yeah.
Because you'll be shaky. You're driving to your next appointment or whatever. You're shaking. You're vibrating.
Yeah.
A few hours later, they crash.
Mhm.
You could have avoided that just going through the ramp down. Just cool yourself down.
Mhm.
Other than that, I would say that I don't really do the whole meditating thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Training's more of just like a tool now.
Yeah.
A tool to get to where I want to get to.
Yeah.
Rather than just something that I do because I like it.
Mhm.
I still enjoy the whole process.
Yeah.
But it's very systematic now.
Right.
This has to happen for that to happen. Do this for that. It's all future projections.
Right. In order to get to this.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
I will absolutely go to the gym with buddies and do just for funsies workout.
Mhm.
And that's a lot more like calming, chill, you just vent some energy out.
This is
You
fun,
have good
we're working
conversations
out.
the whole time.
Yeah.
That feels closer to meditating to me
Mhm.
than anything else really.
So what is like your definition of like walk me through what and how you would have to get through like a bad day. Like let's say you don't want to train. What does that look like to you? Like is there certain things that you do or is there
I will take probably too much pre-workout
yeah?
and then I will come to the gym
Mhm.
and instead of going through like the ramping up process, I will just focus on cooling myself down between every set. Because I'm already geeked.
Mhm.
There's too much caffeine and too many feelings already there,
Mhm.
and I don't know about for anybody else, but it doesn't really matter what feeling is being amplified. There's going to be some adrenaline to follow it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I don't really need to spike that on those days. It's just channeling it into something and then trying to pull myself back down so that when I leave that training session, I can look back and think it was good.
Right.
You can forget about the bad day that happened before,
Right. Yeah.
even though it's the same day.
Right. Yeah, like the feelings going. Because sometimes I think too people also forget like sometimes the worst training day ends up being your best training day.
Yeah,
Sometimes
we're
that
gonna
happens
set
too.
the most the others.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's again kind of that same feeling of the lead up and the way you were almost psyching yourself out ends up being worse than the actual
Oh yeah,
training day. And I think
I think that's the same for competitions too.
Mhm.
Up here is way worse than anything you're gonna do over there.
yeah. And I think a lot of the time, and I think this is where like anxiety comes from in the first place, is making up something that hasn't happened yet. So like people are like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today because deadlifts are going to be super heavy and I don't feel like deadlifting 600 pounds today. Like, but you haven't deadlifted 600 pounds yet. Like, get through each step first. So I try to think about each thing as a win. So for things I don't want to do, like, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to, let's say I don't want to go to the gym today because I want to deadlift. Okay, I don't want to deadlift. So I'm like, just get through your bird dogs. Just get through 10 bird dogs. See how things feel. I take everything as like one step at a time.
Yeah.
And everything is like, it doesn't matter then. It's just a build up and a build up and a build. Like it's just going to the end goal of what I was so worried about in the first place. So I think instead of worrying about 2 hours from now, I'm just like, okay, well let's get through my bird dogs. Oh, my bird dogs feel pretty good. Let's get through my plank. Everything is just one step at a time. And it's instead of just like working myself up to something that hasn't happened yet. I haven't even started deadlifting yet and I'm already saying how shitty deadlifts are gonna be.
Yeah.
Let's see how the warm-ups go first. Let's see how so I think that's also the thing too of like for the bad training days of sometimes it might take you just a little longer, sometimes it might make you like maybe you have to do a little bit more warm-ups, maybe sometimes you have to like pick a little bit different of a playlist. Like there's some things that just like if you can change those little things in order to just get through it, sometimes that's all that matters. Like I know I was saying before, like of the relying on music for competition days, what I don't like to do. But sometimes, if you fucking need to, do it. Maybe if you need to have an extra sandwich and you only normally have one sandwich a day, maybe today you need two. It's literally just listening to what's like really going to help you versus just like what you're building up as a problem in your head that isn't really a problem yet because it hasn't actually happened.
Yeah.
I don't feel like deadlifting is a problem I created before I even started deadlifting. So it's a difference too of like the longer you do it where you're like, I don't feel like deadlifting, and you do your very first warm up and you like have blown your back out. Those are different things too. That's not based on if that's real. That's like oh shit, I wasn't listening to your body is very different than making excuses for your body.
For sure.
And I think that's where those things get confused for people too. They're like, I'm listening to my body and I need to eat French fries from McDonald's. Well, no, you were just like,
Maybe not quite.
yeah, when I'm like, I can tell when my body is physically craving salt. I'm like super overly aware of my nutrition, which is good because that's like information. I'm an information person. So I'm like, oh, I like need salt today. That doesn't mean I'm going to like McDonald's and ordering like the biggest meal off the menu. That's like, oh, I need to like add a bit more salt to my food today. I'll add my salt to my water, that kind of shit, right? So I think that self-awareness part really helps of where it's like, then you can start solving more variables by yourself because you're honest with what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You're honest with what you're doing. You're like, again, going back to the previous thing of like, today's gonna be a hard workout. Was it gonna be a hard workout, or are you just nervous because you know you have to pull something heavy and you just feel like being lazy today? Maybe you just feel like being lazy. Sometimes it usually comes down to I just feel like being a fat fuck. Like, so I think it's one of those things of where, you know, if the longer you do this and the more competitive you want to be, those things make a big difference, right? And I think there's also a thing of where, like, for powerlifting, strongman, it is a hobby. We're not getting paid. Sometimes we get some cool cash.
Yeah.
Like, I got $250 one time, paid for my dinner at the keg, which was awesome. But we still have life to do. So, like you said, it would be awesome to be able to schedule time to, like, meditate before the workout, meditate after the workout, take an extra half an hour and do some stretches and stuff. But you got to go to work in half an hour.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things too of where it's like figuring out what's realistic in order to complement your training that still doesn't take away from your life,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that obviously we all know there's people that do get paid for this. We're not some of them. So it's not yet. Not yet. And so I think it's one of those things too that like the longer you do it, the more you just have to kind of figure out what kind of like person you are. Like training I'm fully addicted to. I'm more addicted to training than anything else in the entire world. And so those are the things that I've had to figure out, like, that are mind games with me of like coming closer to a competition, dialing it back of, okay, you can't train 6 days a week. You can't train 5. You have to be okay with dialing that back. So, okay, so what can I control in that time instead? My nutrition, my sleep, my water. Should I be working a little bit more because we're traveling? Like, there's all those different things of the more you ask yourself and what you need to adjust and fix and improve on, I think competition after competition, it gets better because you're becoming more self-aware. And I think self-awareness part is like the most important part when it comes to like training and competition and stuff. If every single competition, all you do is have like a list of excuses of why you could have done better, that shit gets really old. Because then you eventually don't get any better.
Anywhere.
You don't get any better, and your list gets really fucking old to listen to.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, nobody really gives a shit. So, and sometimes it comes like, especially when people like I've heard 8 competitions in a row, you could hit 225 bench. But I haven't seen you hit a 225 bench. Just acknowledge you're not a 225 bencher yet. Doesn't mean you won't be, but just not there yet. Like, be like, I hit, if you hit 215 multiple meets in a row and you're like, just keep making excuses about why you're not a 225 bencher, maybe you should think about why you're not a 225 bencher and what it is you need to improve on in order to become a 225 bencher. What is it that you're doing as a 215 bencher that is stopping you from becoming a 225 bencher? And I think that's where, like, that can come down to, you can blame if I had a different gym, if I had more money, if I had more time, if I had a better coach, if I had all those things, would you become a better bencher? Like, cause you don't have those things.
Yeah, in my experience, those people lack a deeper perspective of themselves.
Yes.
Where they just can't look internally
Yeah.
because they can't handle attacking themselves
Yeah.
to change it. So they look for external sources
Yeah.
that they can control or can't control
Mhm.
as to why they did something.
It's easier to blame people than it is to take
Yeah.
accountability. You and your boyfriend break up. It's easier to put 100% of the blame on him. You're like,
for
well,
sure. Yeah.
you should probably acknowledge what you fucked up on too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, probably wasn't 100% him. Where's your accountability in that, right? And it's the same of like, you could hire the best coach. Doesn't mean you're gonna get the best results.
No, because if you don't listen, you don't get the best results.
Mhm.
If you did listen, your mediocre coach probably would have got you to 225.
100%. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they probably would. And you know, the best plan is the one that works, the one that you believe in.
for sure.
Like,
yeah.
You know, I've done multiple different plans from mediocre coaches to like the best in the industry. And I have believed they have all worked equally. And I've got PRs off of all of them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just have to put in the time to it because nobody else can force me to do the time. There's ones I've liked better because the ones that put me in the gym longest are the ones that I like the most.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things of just doing the time and really like acknowledging of how you can make, because you can have the same mediocre coach for 10 years and you can still make improvements
Oh yeah.
if you want to make improvements, right? And so I think that's from like working with lots of different really awesome coaches is I'm like, I will do the things that you tell me to do. It might work better for somebody else, it might work better for me, but that's a learning thing too. You don't know unless you try, right?
Sure.
Sometimes
Yeah.
even like a lot of the time for powerlifters, powerlifters, a lot of the athletes are also coaches. Doesn't also mean the best of the best powerlifters will be the best of the best coach.
No. Very
So-
different skill set.
Very different skills, and lift. This is why they're the best. It came a little bit it's a little bit better to them. Either the lift came more naturally, they were just meant to do this. Maybe you might not be, and doesn't mean that it's a waste of time to do their plan. That doesn't mean they're going to be the best coach for you. Just because they have the perfect squat, doesn't mean they know how to teach you how to do the perfect squat.
Oh, for sure.
Right? And so, but I think that's just I think my biggest thing for mindset stuff for people is just doing the time. I think just do the time in the gym to learn the most about yourself. I think that's where
Skip the magic pill steps.
yeah, I've learned a lot about myself from the gym and a lot about other people, and I think if you quit on yourself too many times, you don't really find out what kind of person you are. You can't. You're just quitting on yourself too
Not
many
enough
times.
evidence there to
Yeah.
support any conclusion.
Yeah, you're trying to, and I think it's very important to see what it is you like. I think it's important to try new things in the world. I think it's important to if you always wanted to go skydiving, try skydiving. But I think if you start trying to be okay at too many different things, you never really find what you're good or great at.
Yeah.
And so that's that from that big scale of I want to do all the things. It's you can try stuff, but you should always come back down to the core of what it is you want to accomplish.
Yeah. That's really applicable to Strongman.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
so many different events.
Yeah.
As soon as you start and you see the list of potential events, and that's not even all of them, you're trying to prepare for 96 different things because
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to show up in the next comp.
Yeah.
When you should just be picking a couple to focus on, and then once you know what you're going to be doing next, switch focus. Only do those.
Right.
Right? If there's no stones in your next competition, you don't need to be doing stones.
Right.
Even if it's later on in the year and you know that for sure, that's not the next thing that you need to focus on.
Right.
You're you're trying to be too broad.
Right. There's like a core that you can stick to, and then, okay, now this is what I found out that is the lifts that you have to do. Then you can start working on those things in order to kind of get a feel for it, so you're not just winging it the day of.
Yeah.
But there's lifts that should be the core that will carry over to stones or whatever the we'll call it surprise exercise is. That will have you have a good carryover and keep you as injury free as you possibly. Like everyone's goal to be as injury free as you possibly can.
For sure.
But it doesn't mean being okay at 96 different events or being able to do 96 different events, because you're not going to be great at 96 different events.
No.
So, but I want to see if there's any questions
The only other thing that I think we haven't really touched on would be advice that we give to athletes specifically that are struggling pre-comp or even a little bit during comp. It's like I've had a few people that I've had to talk to coming back to the sport this year or just getting into it this year, and they all have anxiety for this comp that's coming up here. And I give them both the same example to just look back on where you were earlier in this year, either before we started working together or just as you started getting back into it this year, whichever one's earlier. Look at that example and then just follow the timeline up to where we are now and just see all the dramatic changes and progress that you've made in the last 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah.
You're anxious. If it's your first one, you're anxious because you don't know what you're capable of yet. But even if that may be, we can look and see the trajectory that you've gone on.
Yeah.
You've gone from here and you've skyrocketed. And the same thing goes for people that are just getting back into it, or have done a couple competitions, and this is a bigger, more important one. They're looking at it from my past self would suck. If I was back there still, I'm gonna fail this thing up here. They're not looking and giving recognition to the work in their present self. They're too much. They're too stuck in the past on what went bad or what hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
When they just need to focus on where they are now and what they can do now.
Yeah.
Competition's gonna be competition. It's gonna go good or it's gonna go bad. You don't get to decide that.
Yeah.
So you might as well go into it with a higher perspective of yourself. Think about the things that you can do versus the things that you can't or won't do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think first time competitors, I think being nervous is good because it means you give a shit.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. I think being nervous isn't a good thing to have. I think a lot of the time sometimes that comes with they don't want to let you or whoever's coaching, they don't want to let their coach down. And I can honestly say from a competitor I've never felt like they've let me down. Like they might list the lifts and they'd be like, they feel like they've let me down. And I've never felt like that. Like I've never watched them not lift something and been like, I'm disappointed in you. I literally think of, my first thought is they got that. What can we do next time to fix that? It's like my brain automatically goes problem solving.
Yeah.
And I always think about, because people forget about that shit too. They forget about the person that was scared to come to the gym the first day. They forget they were that person that was scared to pick up a barbell. They forget the person that they were, and they're focusing so much on who they are now at this meet, which is great that you're focusing on the present, but also don't forget where you came from.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very thing I try to remind people of. And I'm 4 years ago you would have been stoked to be able to bench 185.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think it's one of those things that don't also forget where you came from, because it's that is all you. That is we can give them all the tools, but it is a good reminder to be hey, but you did this. On the flip side, if you're an athlete coming back into it, and let's say you've gone through an injury and you haven't competed in a couple of years, and you're also thinking I'm not going to be that lifter and it's going to disappoint people. People don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about nobody gives a shit about what you used to lift. If you're the person talking about what you used to lift 5 years ago, you're just like the old fucking uncle that's at the barbecue talking about what they used to bench in high school. And you're like, fucking Uncle Jeff, nobody gives a shit what you benched in gym class in grade 11.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares. And so, I think it's one of those things that, like, going into a competition, really remembering that, like, it kind of comes down to just, like, grit of what you can, like, really bring out of yourself that day. Maybe that, like, deadlift that you used to, like, maybe you used to go deadlift 425 in a competition. Maybe now you can do 365. But if you're out there leaving that, like, 365 deadlift on that platform, people will acknowledge that and positively recognize it because they're like, man, he tried.
Yeah.
He really, and that's all that I think it comes down to, of who tries the hardest. It's like, that's how people remember you, is based off of, like, you know, how much you wanted it. Because I think everyone can relate to that feeling, because everyone knows that they've all come from somewhere. I think sometimes too, a lot of the time, and this is kind of the downside with, like, social media now, is if you are a new lifter, I recommend you don't compare to what other people in your class are.
Devastating.
It's not good. I've never, to be completely honest with you, I've never looked up anybody I've ever competed against. I've always just been like, here's my list, here's the other 8 chicks on it. Okay, cool. Or however many I'm competing against that time. Okay, cool. There's the names, whatever. I don't go research them, I don't go do anything like that. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time. I don't go look them up. The only one I did fucking know was my very first time I competed on Pro Day at the Women's Pro-Am in Ohio. I knew every single name on that list because I followed them all on Instagram and I knew how fucking good of lifters they were.
Right.
And that almost gave me, like, an ego boost of where I was like, you belong with all these people. Like,
Okay.
you were good enough to be on this list.
Yeah.
And that was, like, honestly, that gave me, like, this weird confidence boost that I was like, now show them that you deserve to be here. And I think that's where, like, in the beginning when I was, like, new and trying to get into it, I was like, people are only going to post highlights on Instagram. And I was like, there's you looking at someone's lift does nothing for your own. So it was like, so if you're going to study anyone, so sometimes when I go and I want to go on Instagram and look the person up, I go to my own page and look at my squad. And be like, this is all that fucking matters, because this is what you're lifting, this is what you can control, this is what you can do. The girl could have 100 pounds more on squash me and she could completely bail on the day up and I could win, right? So I think it's one of those things that, like, the difference of what made me more of a confident lifter, though, was the day that I looked at that list of all those girls that I had, like, literally followed or admired and been like, you're with the big dogs now, so prove you deserve to be there. And I think I was happy with my competition day, and, like, the environment, the atmosphere, everything was very, like, it was amazing. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And because everyone there really rooted for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, for me, it was like, oh, you're with big dogs now, so show you're deserving to be here. And I think that's where, like, if anyone is going to, if they happen to look up people, or if they're like, oh shit, this chick is, like, so strong and she's this person is so intimidating, they're so strong, I'm like, then show them you deserve to be there with them. If you put them on a pedestal, you better fucking put yourself on a pedestal too.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think we get so much of, like, this chick is so, or this person is so good, they're so much stronger than me, there's something, like, motherfucker, I deserve to be here. So, and I think when you have someone on such a pedestal, you kind of forget that they have their own insecurities and their own weaknesses too. And you're like, whatever weakness they have, that could show up that day, and you don't know that.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, and maybe it doesn't, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you don't know because everyone's competition day is different. And I think it says something, though, when you're going into it being like, you show them why you deserve to be here. Or like I've had chicks that have had like world record benches that have like benched me by like 200 pounds, and they complimented my bench press. And so, and those are the things that like I've had this like literally this chick, world record holder, told me I had a good bench one day, and I fucking never forgot it since. Like, and it was like my bench max was like her like third warm up. Like it's just one of those things that it's, you know, if you put out effort, I think everyone can positively acknowledge that. And so I think for new people, it's when you put out that effort, not only is it positively recognized, but you walk away feeling good. Whether you get last place or you get first place, as long as you're like, I really left it out there, then I think that's something that everyone can kind of relate to.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to acknowledge when like you look at a list of impressive people and you're like, holy shit, I'm competing against these people. Because I think a lot of the time too, it's easy to play like safe and want to be the big fish in the small pond and keep getting first place after first place after first place and dominating the same people and over again. It's like, but how do you know what you're truly made out of unless you put yourself in a really uncomfortable position?
Yeah.
And so you can look at your list and be like, these people are gonna fucking wreck me.
They're that firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
My first year, my first competition, I got first.
Mm-hmm.
In my second competition, I had to go against a guy who dropped down a weight class and then went pro in that weight class that year.
Oh shit.
We were doing, shout out Tyson Delay.
Oh, Tyson, no shit.
We
What's up,
were
Tyson?
doing sandbag over bar as a last man standing, so like pass it back and forth.
Yeah.
If you fail it, you swap out with somebody.
Okay.
He just wiped out the entire weight category.
Damn.
He just stood there the whole time. He only had to do like 10 or so reps. Like for him, that's nothing. But to go from win your first competition to get last place and get absolutely
annihilated,
dominated by that guy, and you're like, that's catching up to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But then at the same time, you jump forwards a couple years and like I can't keep up with him, but the gap is closing. Right?
Yes.
Like I'm getting closer.
Yes.
So it's a lot easier to recognize that I'm getting to that level that I looked up to years ago and was like, holy fuck, how the hell am I ever gonna do that?
Yeah.
If I went against my past me, I would be looking at myself the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Being like, who is this person? Like, how do I become that? And when you start to become that person, that's when you get the most critical of yourself because you're like, it's never good enough. And the weights, honestly, God, will never be good enough. Like, I thought I was going to be satisfied the time I became a 225 bencher. And I can tell you that did not fucking happen.
Yeah.
So, it's like, it's one of those things that acknowledging something, because I mean, I know Tyson too, fucking awesome guy, and I think acknowledging when people have strengths just makes you a stronger, not a just lifter, but a person in general. Like, I think right now, I don't know if it's the internet or just like the day and age we live in too, it's just so easy to just like shit talk people and
hide behind a screen.
Hide behind a screen and be a troll, if you will, or like not truly acknowledge the positive things about people. And I think it's really awesome to be able to go up to someone that you admire and tell them that and be like, I like love the way you like lift, or I fucking think you have an awesome shoulder or something, right? Like, I think, and genuinely meaning it, because I think it's so easy to, like you said, hide behind a screen or blame like your genetics or say that they have better genetics than you. Maybe they do. Maybe your genetics fucking suck. Blame your parents. I don't know. But like, it's one of those things that isn't going to make a difference. It's not going to make you feel better by shit talking that other person. It's just going to, I think, bring down your whole morale, not actually like get you moving forward. Like, I like complimenting people. I like acknowledging like when someone's stronger than me, more muscular than me, leaner, something where I'm like, man, you're like fucking jacked. Like, like your squat is unbelievable, something like that, of where it's like that. Not only does that make that person feel good, but it makes you feel good and should make you feel motivated to be like, yeah, I'm gonna push my squat a little bit more today because like I feel like that's what this person would do. I feel like this person would
positively acknowledging where you want to be.
Yeah.
Versus complaining about where you are now.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like when you look, you can even ask yourself too. Like it's all about those like taking someone else's success and being like, what would that person do? Like, that person might actually add another 5 pounds to their squat that day.
Yeah.
And then you can do the same thing. And so I think someone like, you know, like you said, like watching someone like Tyson, it's cool to be able to like have something to catch because then it just pushes him to be better too.
Oh yeah. The first time you beat him in an event.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
I did it. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm with the big dogs, right? But I think for anyone that wants to talk themselves out of it, if they've always been thinking about doing it, just fucking sign up.
Just do it.
Just
never know.
sign up. You might love it, you might hate it. And either way you can say that you did it. Either way you're acknowledging like something that made you nervous, you're accomplishing it, and then you're just like putting a checklist off that.
Oh yeah.
And I think even for if anyone's injured and they're nervous about doing it, I would definitely say like seek like a coach and whatever to help you do that. We have 2 really good coaches right here. But if you ever need like guidance on that kind of stuff, I think having a coach, especially if you are injured, in order to show you like what the kind of rep range would be, what appropriate weight jumps, what your movements look like, stuff like that. But I don't think if you don't know what to do, like searching out for help is always the greatest starting point. But I definitely think that like just fucking sign up for one.
Oh,
whatever one you're more like, whatever
if
you're
you
interested
love
in.
it, you found a new community, something else to work towards, something new to do. And if you hate it, check it off the list. Go try something else.
Yeah,
Now you don't have to worry about that.
Then you don't have to worry. You're like, that wasn't for me, but I'm really happy I did it.
Yeah.
And or it can become like your greatest passion. And the cool thing about our sports is not too late to start.
No.
You know, it's not like the NBA or the Major League Baseball. It's like, okay, you're past your prime and now you can't try it at all.
You're doing this just to better yourself and prove that you can do more than you did last time.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just one of the old fucks now held together by duct tape.
Yeah.
Built with broken pieces.
We're all gonna get there.
Because we're all gonna get there. Was there any other mindset things you wanted to?
I think we covered most of everything that I thought about.
I think so too. It has been an hour and a half. I think I'm good with all that.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
For people that make it to the end of this very long video,
Thanks.
if you have any topics you want covered, drop them in the comments.
Drop in the comments. Shout out to Tyson.
Shout out to Tyson, Little Big Thunder on Instagram. Happiest dude ever.
Yeah, no shit, eh? Nice. Good job. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was long. That was fucking awesome.